the GOAT. He may not be the Wizard King by title yet, but Asta has earned more merit than anyone to be worthy enough of being included in this video. However, life wasn't always so kind to him. Asta was birthed into this world by Lichta, a woman whose body was so good, it literally sucked the life force out of you. Because of this, he was born mannerless, which meant straight from the get-go, Asta was dealt with a card that made him borderline useless in the world of Black Clover. In spite of that, he demonstrated his never give up attitude, which is prevalent in all Wizard Kings. Nonetheless, as Asta grows older with the church, we first see his Wizard King Riz come online when he overhears the locals envious of the people who resided in the noble realm. On this day, Asta, like many of the Wizard Kings before him, discovers the prejudice experienced by the citizens of the Forsaken Realm and declares his goal to become the Wizard King for the first time. This was one of Asta's most prevalent features, saving those in need from people who use their power to bully others. We saw this as early as chapter 1, where Asta, just as a child, risked his body to protect Yuno from a thief, which later parallels Asta saving Yuno from Rivachi, even in the face of somebody leagues ahead of him. Asta refused to back down so that his family would be safe. However, it's this attitude that made him stand out above the rest, as he was blessed with a 5-leaf grimoire, which belonged to none other than Lisht. Despite not having any knowledge of this, 16 years ago, his mother had found this very book and kept it safe. She had to leave Asta at the church as she was afraid he would die otherwise. Eventually, she met the devil Libe, who ended up becoming Asta's foster brother. After giving up Asta, his mother had adopted Libe as she was isolated for her magic by society. In her extreme loneliness, she looked after the devil and created a special bond. Libe, similar to Asta, had never felt love or respect in hell due to having no magic. Sadly, in the attempts to protect her adopted son, Lishta died to Lucifero. However, Lishta was able to save Libe by sealing him within the sword magic grimoire with the use of her magic, in which he wished for revenge for 15 years within it. He eventually was granted anti-magic that could achieve this dream. By plan or destiny, Asta ended up with this grimoire, and gaining this power opened up an entirely new level for Asta to explore in the world. He finally had a chance to achieve his dream of becoming the Wizard King, and that's exactly what he did. If you guys want a full video explaining every moment Asta proved he was the ultimate Wizard King, share your mana with me by smashing the like button and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out. But if it wasn't clear enough, what we can tell so far is that every Wizard King has suffered from the system and is trying to change it. And Asta is no different, as he shared his vision for what he wants for the Clover Kingdom back when they infiltrated the Eye of the Midnight Sun's headquarters. Asta even proved why he was different from the other Wizard Kings in this movie by replying with one simple word: why? Why? Asta wants to create a free country where everyone can appreciate each other, joke and laugh together. One where there is unity with all races, much like Conrad, who also wants this. However, rather than resorting to genocide to create his own world, Asta seeks to understand everyone, as we are all fundamentally the same. No matter the challenges Asta has faced throughout his life and any near-death experiences he might have had, it doesn't change his thinking or resolve to act on his belief, which means as a Wizard King, he can face absolutely anything to achieve victory. This is what is needed in a Wizard King, because a leader is someone that others follow, commanding respect, rather than the other way around, which is exactly what is happening in this movie. Conrad even acknowledged Asta and planned to crown him as Wizard King with Julius. Knowing Asta was the only hope the kingdom had left, he ended up handing him the Imperial Sword and entrusted the future of the kingdom to him, where he was further accepted by the past Wizard Kings. Later in the manga, Lucius claims that Asta is the flaw in this world that must be removed to fix it. However, like the Witch Queen said, not being special is exactly what makes him special. Asta is not the virus Lucius believes he is. Rather, he is the cure. We saw this in the Hino country, where Asta was even likened to Ryu, the magicless shogun who helped shape a peaceful land where classist views did not exist. It wasn't perfect though, as it was a heavily xenophobic country. Nonetheless, that all changed after Asta landed there and split the clouds, cementing his position as a living legend there amongst the people. Even Ryu and Yosuga claim that Asta will become the Wizard King. This is why he scales to planetary level.
Next on the list is Mummy. Princia Funny Bunny was the eldest child of a noble family. They wanted to live in peace and govern their land in this way, but the selfish and greedy royals seized it all for themselves. Due to their constant harassment, Princia made it her goal to fight and defend both her family and people. Soon thereafter, she was recruited into the Blue Roses Magic Knight squad following the Grimoire acceptance ceremony, where she was blessed with Legion magic. This allowed her to gain control of thousands of powerful soldiers that could even form together to create a huge mech. With this power, her fame grew day by day as she went on to be undefeated in battle her entire life. In order to strengthen their influence, the royal family made her the Wizard King. Princia became a mighty warrior who boasted some of the best fighting abilities of all the Wizard Kings in history, equaling the power of 1,000 soldiers, which caused people to fear her strength. During the war against the Diamond Kingdom, she played an integral role on the battlefield, leading her country to victory. However, as the war was coming to an end, Princia's family and people from her land were taken hostage by the enemy. Worried that she would leave the front lines to save those in which she loved, her team of generals withheld this information from her to ensure she would stay and secure the Clover Kingdom's victory, and thus she never got to see her loved ones again. After learning that it was kept secret from her, she exploded in a fit of rage towards everyone and was thus stripped of her title as Wizard King, jailed, and even had her magic sealed away. Then one day it all came to an end when the village she was imprisoned in was attacked. Despite now being magicless, she fought the bandits, sacrificing her life. Centuries later, she was given her chance at revenge towards the Clover Kingdom for taking away her loved ones from her. Conrad, using his key magic and imperial sword, resurrected Princia. She joined in the attack on the Clover Kingdom at the Magic Knights Festival, where the 4 Wizard Kings quickly took control. Her Legion magic soldiers marched through the kingdom, causing destruction along their path, all so that she could see her perfect world of zero oppression become a reality. At this point, her Legion magic was so devastating that it was equal to an entire country's military strength. She's later met face to face with Mereoleona as the two go head to head, where even using Mana Zone Gladius Brachium Purgatory, Princia stopped Siscolion with just one hand using her full form. This transformation resembled that of a queen chess piece, which is the most powerful piece on the board with only one on each team. However, only one queen could prevail. Siscolion, using her Hellfire Incarnate spell for the first time, pushes Princia into a corner, where after enjoying the fun of their battle, her soul eventually is forced to return back to the afterlife. Next we have Jester the Mad King. Jester was raised in a privileged environment thanks to his noble family, and due to this had an exceptional amount of talent for magic, eventually becoming a member of the Magic Knights. After achieving great success as a captain, he was finally appointed as the 16th Wizard King. However, his growing influence started to become a thorn of the royal faction, and so they gathered together and set a trap to get rid of the Wizard King. I mean, is this shocking at this point? Are you guys not beginning to see a pattern here? The royals are the real enemy, and everything is a trap set by them so that they get their way. Due to this, Jester would lose his life, all in the ambition to achieve a just world. Many decades later, Jester was brought back with the help of Conrad's key magic and the Imperial Sword. Due to having similar goals, Jester decided to aid Conrad in his plans to destroy the Clover Kingdom and then bring it back with only those they deemed worthy. Out of all the Wizard Kings who were brought back, Jester by far showcased a superior level of strength over the others. This is highlighted with his barrier magic completely dominating everyone. With this magic, Jester is not only able to block out pretty much any attacks, but can also create very durable objects, including weapons. Due to having an immense amount of magic power, he can juice these barriers to an unspeakable degree. With this, Jester was able to fortify Conrad in his Voodoo Shangri-La dome so that he could prepare the destruction of the kingdom in peace. Even Asta's big black sword couldn't penetrate it that easily. But with the power of friendship, Asta and Yuno were able to slice through Jester's dome. This feat showcased Jester's personality of a battle-driven knight, as he complemented them with the desire to see what else they could do. On top of this, Jester's proficiency is also aided with his master's swordsmanship. During his role to protect Conrad and the Imperial Sword, Jester was able to hold down not only Yuno, but our Chad Yami along with the other two captains Nazel and Forgelion. After activating his trump card, the captains had to use a combo spell along with Yuno giving his best using Spirit Dive to do any damage. But that too wasn't enough to game end him. Instead, Jester revealed that he wasn't even at full power, and so he releases the dome to regain all his strength. Luckily for Yuno, Yami and the other two captains, however, Conrad was defeated by Asta just in the nick of time before Jester could show us what he was truly about, eventually passing on with Conrad and being truly happy that the next generation were powerful enough to take him on.
Next, we have Edward Avalanche, the 20th Wizard King. Unlike the others, Edward, though talented with a promising future, had no interest in chasing a career. In fact, from a young age, he had spent most of his time in the church, listening to sermons. This is where Edward was exposed to the reality and hardship of those without magic powers. And years later, the Clover Kingdom would undergo an intensifying war. With obviously, yeah, come on, it's always the damn Diamond Kingdom. This moment would change Edward's life forever. With his orphanage caught in the midst of the war, not only was it raided, but the kids he had adopted lost their lives. This enraged Edward, where for the first time ever, he used magic with all his might to destroy the enemy. After witnessing his own powerlessness and the loss of his children, Edward was determined to become stronger, and so he joined the Magic Knights in order to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. Edward's generosity and love from the weak had significantly grown his popularity, where he eventually became the Wizard King, as he was soon apprehended and executed. But like the others, part of his soul had already accumulated in the Imperial Sword, where many years later he was brought back by Conrad to join him in his cause. In fact, during the final battle where he faced the Black Bulls, Edward showcased how powerful his ice magic was, freezing everything in its path, even molten hot lava. In spite of this, Edward liked the Black Bulls. Seriously, he even said he would spare their lives due to their pure hearts, telling them to flee the country and keep safe. So he wasn't entirely a bad guy, even though he did want to destroy and kill everybody in the kingdom. Well, listen, the Black Bulls couldn't abandon the kingdom, whilst it and everyone in it would be destroyed. So they fought back. It's here that Edward unleashes his super OP monozone, which lowered the temperature of the entire area below zero. But after Noelle received her magic back from Conrad, she used the most powerful spell in her grimoire, the power of friendship and talk no jutsu. Upon realizing that even a royal like Noelle could understand the concept of true equality, Edward happily returned to the afterlife, knowing that if someone like her exists, then there's still hope for the world.